Good afternoon and welcome to Manchester for day 4 of this exciting World Cup Championships. Today we have Australia and England for the semi-final, the winner of which goes through to the grand final. The top seed Australia versus the 4th seed England. And this is set to be an absolutely mammoth battle.
Absolutely. Yesterday we saw our top seed Australia beat France 238 for 47, and England take the win over Sweden 205 for 134.
Yeah, I was lucky enough to be in the crowd for that Australia versus France game, and it was an absolute cracker of a game. The crowd was electric. There were so many French fans in that crowd. It felt like we were little seeds of Australian supporters down there on the track. But we do see we've got a large Australian contingent down here just to the left of us. And the team are all ready to go. We're just going to do a quick read-through of all of the skaters on the team. Well, now we're going to read out the full 20, considering that some of the skaters will not be here. They are on the full roster, but out of respect, we're going to read the full teams out. So for Australia, 010 Giles. For number 11, Sarah Chambers. Number 111, Wheels McCoy. Number 128, Amy Booth. 1337, Freudian Slit. 14, Christy Demons. 192, Sage King. Number 20, Lorraine Evans. Number 216, Moody. Number 2806, Danny Darko. Number 32, Stanton. Number 35, Byrne. Number 358, Yana Nuku. Number 38, Bone Shaker. Number 4, Slamazon. Number 444, Scarlett Love. Number 66, that's Lauren Foote. Number 7, Gomez. And number 85, Bianca Scaretta. Tui Lyon is out as she's injured herself, I think, in between games, and she's on the list. And number 130, Dyer Skates.
And the England roster, as it currently stands, we're looking at number 7, Ella Story. 101, Jack Attack. 1, Faye Roberts. 12, Alex Wild. 129, Just Jess. 13, Stephanie Maney. 22, Rogue Runner. 3, Onyeka Egwe. Number 4, Delta Strike. 40, Kid Blight Block. 419, Philly. 42, Trisha Smakanawa. 6, Missy Rascal. 666, Alex Valentine. 6955, Menace. 7, Kristen Lee. 8008, Gaz. 84, Katie Helvetica Black. 86, Terry Sundren. 888, Charlene Scarlett. And that is your crew for England. Thank you to all of the Australian fans that will be joining us very late at night, just about to hit 11 p.m. your time.
That's right. I think it is. I think it's 1 a.m. actually in the morning. So I might be wrong, but I think it's 1 a.m. on Monday morning, because they're 11 hours in the behind, or 4. No, you're right. It is 11 o'clock at night. So 11 o'clock at night's not too bad in Australia. It's summer over there. They're probably kicking back anyway with the beer.
Yeah, so enjoy your bev. We're only a few seconds away from the start of this semi-final game. Australia versus England. It's going to be a phenomenal game. The attendance yesterday during the quarterfinals, just shy of 4,000 people turned up here to Event City in Manchester. An even bigger number here with us on finals day today.
It is absolutely massive down here at the S1 Helmets Co. track, and we have just launched into the very first jam. Christy Demon sliding into the back of the front of the English pack there, and we got Rogue Runner, who is jamming for England. I don't know if you noticed there at the start, we had 2 Australian jammers on the jam line, and Anaconda, or Byrne as she's skating, did skate off just as we went through there. Lead jammer has gone to Road Runner.
So no pass, no penalty means that England get the first lead of the game. But Christy Demons getting through on the initial pass as Rogue Runner comes in on that scoring pass.
And Rogue Runner getting a bit of a hit, taking just a skate on the inside line. Bone Shaker giving her a bit of a nudge, and good work there. So I've noticed, having watched a few I don't know if you Australian noticed there at the start, we had 2 Australian jammers on the jam line,
to lose the first 2 jams.
Byrne as she skated, did skate off just as we went through there.
France, it was 13-0, which the French supporters loved.
So he's seeing holding Australia to 0 for that first few jams. So I don't know if that's a bit of a strategy to sort of see how it's going or whatnot. Anyway, back into the action, Byrne. So Byrne's out there, and she is sliding out to the front, but she's not good enough because we've got lead jammer coming here for Stephanie Maney, Team England's jammer. Byrne still stuck up in the middle of that pack there, and a great 3-wall by England to try and hold her back, which is being very effective at the moment. Big shout out to Byrne's children back in Australia, Mila and Claude. If you're watching, shouting at the TV screen for your mum. All right, so the blockers and Scarlett Love, and a good, nice offensive work there by, looks like Tui Lyon. We were told that she's not actually skating, but she certainly looks like she is at the moment. So she coming to try and assist to help the jammer through there. And just having a quick conference of the scores. 5 points on the board for Team England. This is certainly a great way to start for Team England.
A very strong start. The predictable show this morning put Australia to walk out of this game on top. In the first few seconds of this game, we're seeing England get off to that head start.
Yep, we certainly are. Number 7, that is Gomez, going off quickly and leaving Moody on the track.
Slammerson for Team England.
No, that's Delta Strike, I believe, for Team England. That's okay. So Moody is being, looks like we've got Scarlett Love being sent off with a forearms. Moody, however, is the lead jammer for Team Australia. And we might be getting a bit of a star pass going on. I certainly can see the helmet cover in someone's hand, getting all over by Bianca Sciaretta and Danny Darko. And Moody comes round putting points on the board. Not too sure.
So that star pass completed.
Right.
Going to 888 Shaolin Scarlett.
Shaolin Scarlett. So it's a very fast moving pack out there at the moment, probably speeding it up there. And Moody is hitting the back of that England pack, a very strong pack out there. Number Onyeka Igwe is the brace for that pack. And she's now going to skate all the way back and recycle, or make Moody come into the back of the pack and rejoin there.
So coming to turn 3, a real struggle for Shaolin Scarlett, now coming in on that scoring pass.
Shaolin Scarlett getting nudged out by the Australian Scarlett and number 38 Bone Shaker. So Moody finding a gap, taking that gap, putting another 4 points on the board for Team Australia. The England team coming back to give Shaolin Scarlett a bit of a hand.
That offense coming in hard, only a few seconds left on the third jam of the first period.
It looks like, no.
Helvetica Black off to the penalty box. England now with a weaker pack on track, but more points for Australia just in time before the jam expired.
Yeah, and Australia taking the lead for the first time, 14-11.
So 14-point jam.
Great work. So big shout out to S1 Helmets out there. This is S1helmetsco.track, and they've been a massive supporter of this Roller Derby World Cup. S1 Lifer helmet, best fit plus best protection equals made for roller derby.
So for England, we've got Alex Wild on the line, Gomez for Australia, just on an official timeout at the moment.
So in the audience yesterday, I noticed somebody wearing spinach, which is Gomez's other name. And then I said, oh, that's interesting. You've got spinach on there. And he said, that's because I've got special privileges because I'm going to marry her. So Alexi out there somewhere is here supporting his future wife. I don't know if she knows this yet, mind you. But he certainly, and I'm spreading it out to the world. It might be the world's worst kept secret now. But there is certainly a lot of support that have flown over 17,000 kilometres from Australia to be here to support some of these skaters, which is fantastic.
So nearly every single seat has been taken in the house here at Event City in Manchester. There's an awash with colours, nations represented from around the world, people travelling literally thousands of kilometres to be here with us on this finals day. And it is Australia that picks up lead. Gomez as Wild gets through on that initial pass as well. England with 2 blockers in the box.
Both these two teams extremely competent and world-class teams. We're talking about currently 1 and 4 ranked in this competition. That's out of 38 teams who have entered from around the world. Gomez, 4 points on the board. Wild getting recycled there by, and when I say recycled, I meant being pushed out and then they're making them skate back past the rear blocker.
So Kid Block currently taking a sit down in the penalty box. England with that 3-wall up front, ready for the reapproach by Gomez as they come to the outside of turn 3. Incredible footwork from Gomez, really towing the outside line. The out of play is called, allowing Gomez to get the full 5 in the sky.
Very defiant and very strong on her skates as she sort of keeps on ploughing through those England blockers. Now everyone's come all back together, and this is a very tight and very strong pack right in the middle and right in the mix there.
Yeah, Terry Sundren holding the outside line. Gomez being slowed up quite a considerable amount.
So we've got number 88, Tui Lyon, who's trying to do some fantastic offensive blocking in breaking up that English strong defence. Meanwhile, the Australian defence holding back Wild. Gomez trying to make her way through. Gomez is lead jam as they're about to come on through.
So that was the biggest jam so far.
And it's looking great. We've got 4 points on the board to England and 5 points on the board for Australia. And we're going to do a bit of a switcheroo at last minute on you. They call this one the old bait and switch. So, Brom, thank you very much for helping out. And Amy Jo, welcome to the game.
What an exciting game over there on the Rainy City track.
You are flat out. You've just come commentating for another game and come and join us here. And lucky us our international audiences. We've got the lovely Amy Jo coming to help commentate now. So Byrne, who is otherwise known as Anaconda, back in the Big Oz. She is flying into the back. I think Byrne is her family name. She is lead jam at this stage, having trouble getting through some of those back blockers with England. And 3 points on the board for Australia. So we're just rounded in 8 minutes into this first half. Australia 36 to England 15.
Rogue Runner now taking the jam line against Moody.
That's right.
Skaters lined up at the pivot line. It looks like we're going to have a very fast rollback led by Team Australia.
Team Australia have been doing some very innovative things. They've obviously been training very specifically and have got a lot of interesting tactics that they're pulling out here at the World Cup. They probably saved themselves a few coming into the finals as well. But it is Rogue Runner and Team England with lead jammer. There's a lot of mayhem going on in that back, if you can see that there. Australia trying to reform, and Rogue Runner being nudged out by Tui Lyon and Yana Nuku, the back marker there, as they slide on up there. Very specifically, and they've got a lot of interesting tactics.
Well, Chief off to 36-15, 20-38 on the period clock here.
Well.
We have 2 points being posted for Team England in that jam now. Slamazon takes the jam line against...
no, that is not...
I got my backwards, Delta Strike versus Christy Demons.
That's right. I get that happening all the time. So England in the red and Australia in the green. Is playing at home. And Christy Demons probably one of the best jammers in the world, I would say, coming out of MVP last year in the WFTDA tournament as one of the best jammers, certainly in that tournament. Forearms penalty, and that's going to win and 888, which is Shaolin Scarlet. So Huyn on her jersey, but Shaolin Scarlet to us. And that's another 5 points on the board for Christy Demons.
Yeah, she's just posting them like crazy. The cover is off, Delta Strike, but she is up against this wall of Scarlet Love. And
Scarlet Love, of course, in her other name, skating under Bisexual.
Yes.
Also one of the greatest blockers I've ever had the pleasure to see.
Without a doubt, Chief, without a doubt.
She's incredibly hard to come across and get past. And also a doctor, a medical doctor.
Yes.
Scarlet Love.
Well, she's bracing Danny Darko there, and it's just this tripod. I'm mostly seeing Scarlet Love and Danny Darko, but there is one other Australian blocker in there rounding out that tripod.
That's right. Who is in that situation? That's 85 Bianca Sciaretta.
Yes.
That particular, we'll see a lot of that particular defense lineup, because that is a very formidable three-wall, or shapes as they like to call it.
20 points this jam so far for Christy Demons.
Bone Shaker rejoining the pack, and Christy Demons getting one last point before she calls it off. And 21-point jam for Team Australia. That is a fantastic effort.
Double Threat Skates, expert advice from experienced staff. Head to doublethreatskates.co.uk.
So we've got Gomez up against Maney, and Stephanie Maney, number 13 for Team England. Both of them weighing up their option. Gomez seeing that inside edge, taking it. Lead jammer going to Australia.
No time, she's back to scoring.
And she's just danced her way through there. I think she's seen a bit of a foot come out, and so she's just done the safe old thing and gone to the back of the pack there. And it looks like we've got ourselves a star pass going on here with Team UK, or Team England, my apologies.
Goes to Kid Block, but that forces the call off.
That's right.
5 points for Gomez.
So we've got some amazing sponsors who have come together to help make this thing happen. Frogmouth is also one of our big sponsors, and they've done a lot of their jerseys and uniforms out there on the track. I know Team Australia have Frogmouth uniforms, and they're sort of printing reversible so you can use it inside and outside, and about 8 teams, I think, in this World Cup.
That's really fantastic when you travel to these tournaments, although you really need 2 so you can wash one.
Exactly.
And we have Moody picking up lead, but 50 feet behind her is Rogue Runner. Rogue Runner putting the heat on and forcing just 1 point for Team Australia. Yep.
So Moody, she comes all the way from our Sydney Roller Derby League, and interestingly enough, I asked her where her name came from, and her family calls her Moo. So this is where we get Moody from.
It's not because she's moody.
No, I don't. Well, look, she may be moody. I'm not going to classify her. And her emotional state, but Moo is definitely where her name comes from, according to her.
She looks really focused when she's on the track, Chief.
Oh, yeah.
So that doesn't look super moody to me, like happy and determined. Those are like the 2 moods we see out there.
Well, when you're representing your country on a world stage like this, I think I'd be super focused.
Well, the crowd has really filled in the stands here at the S1 Helmets Co. track. Stands and the floor and standing up behind, and this is the biggest track here.
It is a massive track, and every single spare spot is taken. Even some of the walking room behind is hard to get through at this stage. I just want to have a quick shout out to some of our skating officials out there on the track. They sometimes don't get recognised, but this is the team out there in the refs, as some might know them, is Jens Hortke, Curdy Malloy, Landon Flatt, Logan Nighthawk, Mercy Biku, Petit Greg Schreff, and Vincent Van Gore out there today doing a fantastic work. And the refs always are an essential part of any roller derby game.
Team England did just have a timeout that stopped the clock, and they pick up a lead jam.
Alex Wild coming through, lead jam.
It's their first lead in 5 jams here. And this is really pretty amazing. We do have the cover off of Byrne, but
wow.
I'm sorry. Yes, the cover is off, and she's going to put it back on.
Oh,
Did not get past.
The old stash.
Stash the cover.
Yeah.
And Alex calls off that jam after picking up only 1 point and also losing one of her blockers to the penalty box. Here we're going to watch a replay. Team England did just have a timeout that stopped the clock, and they pick up a lead jam.
Ferocious skater. Just does not stop. You know, I asked her what one of her most inspirational moments in Derby was, Anaconda or Byrne, sorry. And she coaches the juniors back at home, so she really loves watching those juniors rise up through the ranks to become tomorrow's skaters.
Yeah, my own league has juniors as well, and it really gives you hope for the future.
And being able to pass on some of that knowledge. You know.
Christy Demons right around the outside of corners 1 and 2 picks up lead. Ella Story fighting this front wall of bisexual.
Danny Darko getting sent off for a forearms penalty. Christy Demons still at the back. She is lead jammer, but being held back very good there by Shaolin Scarlett. And who else is in that there? That is Menace, it looked like, as part of that defensive wall for England, which is quite effective. Ella Story, however, is half a track behind Christy at this stage. We'll see how that pans out. Gets through. So Christy is definitely still focused on getting through here. 4 points in the air for Ella Story.
Amazing transitions of these Australian skaters going from defense and then right into offense to get those points for Christy Demons. That's going to be 8-4 jam for Team Australia.
Well, down in Australia, there's not many people to be able to compete or play against because we're so isolated. And so I know that a lot of these skaters train against the All-Australian men's team to build up and sort of hone their skills. And I've got a good authority that they consistently beat them, which is fantastic.
This doesn't surprise me. Delta Strike jamming against Gomez.
So Gomez struggling to get through some of those front blockers, and we've got Delta Strike. I don't think that's Delta Strike. That looks like Kid Block, who is jamming there for Team England. Does say Delta Strike on our team. Oh no, it is Delta Strike. My apologies.
All good. The pack is moving very fast here, Chief. Faster than we typically see packs moving at this level of play. 4 points go up for Team Australia. Delta Strike forces the call off.
And it's really great at this level of roller derby to see the adaptive play styles even within the same jam. Sometimes with some of the other teams, they see how the other team are playing. They go, all right, let's adapt to it. And then next jam, they'll come out with a different strategy. At this level of derby, it is second to second being able to switch between strategies inside your head. It's incredibly encouraging.
Barron on the jam line against Roadrunner. Roadrunner tries the inside but is denied. Comes back and tries again against the rear wall of Australia.
But
lead.
Byrne is lead, however, she's all the way through, and Roadrunner is not far behind her.
Well, these jam refs are having to skate very quickly.
We've got 3 blockers for Australia sitting in the bin right now, so they're going to want to sort of speed that up, I guess. Oh, Byrne turns around and starts blocking Roadrunner.
Byrne's letting it go to help empty her box just a little bit.
She calls it, but I'm not too sure she got it in time. No, she didn't. That jam turns England's way with 4 versus 2. Byrne didn't manage to call that off in time to speed that up, I guess. Oh, Byrne turns around and starts blocking Roadrunner.
For your feet, and check out Byrne's letting it go to help empty your box just a little bit.
She calls it, but I'm not too sure.
Still have a box full of skaters. Scarlett Love with the pivot cover in there for Australia. with one of her teammates, and we also have the England pivot standing there.
Yeah, it is a very skater-heavy box at this stage. And just think about pillows for your feet. Last thing you want is to have walking around having feet going to sleep on you.
That's true.
Yeah, walking around, I can't feel my feet.
Well, and I always tell my new skaters you want a nice, really good, solid connection between your foot and the plate.
Yeah.
But maybe they mean below the plate. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm sure Tony has a reason for saying that.
I'm sure he does.
So 77-26, our clock is stopped at 11:40. We are on an official timeout. We seem to be working something out between the penalty tracker and the penalty box, just straightening out who is supposed to be in the box, who has been sure to visit. And it looks like we're getting it straight now. We've got a signal to carry on.
So Christy Demons up against number 13.
Stephanie Maney.
Stephanie Maney.
Stephanie Maney been with London for a very long time, and strong, but now no longer. Of course, she has transferred to Bay Area.
And we've got a power jam situation going on. Christy Damon has been sent off to the bin. I'm not too sure what the penalty was there, but we certainly do have England with 30 seconds, and they're going to want to really capitalize on this and put some points on the board.
If anyone can capitalize on it, Stephanie Maney can. She comes right through the inside. She gets fantastic offensive blocking by Kid Block and the rest of her blockers there. It's not a jammer effort alone.
Scarlett Love and Tui Lyon, the only one standing in the way of Maney at this stage. And number 40, Kid Block, doing a great job, as you said, pulling away the defensive players of the Australian team.
Christy Demons with the cover stash, takes an 8-inch jump in corner 4, completes her initial pass, and now she's going to put that cover on. England getting the signal from the third base coach to call that off. And we have 5 points on the board for Team England, bringing them to, 10 total now. 36 total for Team England, 77 Australia, as we have 10:20 on the first period clock.
A fantastic jam by Stephanie Maney. Certainly something that they're going to be looking for more of at this juncture.
Well, I don't think they're going to get as many mistakes off of Australia. I don't expect to see Christy Demons in the box that much, but that was a good break for Team England.
That's right, 10 unanswered points. Moody up against Wild on the jam line. Well, no longer on the jam line. They're right in the middle of their opposing team's defense. And it looks like Moody might have come through, and she has. Lead jammer going to Moody, giving the old whoop, whoop, whoop with their finger. Sure means something else. Always look at it and think whoop, whoop, whoop.
There's always a little bit of time to celebrate. A little time,
Yeah.
as long as you don't overdo it.
No, that's right.
And especially with this crowd. I mean, this is the crowd that gets really riled up about that little interaction with the skaters on the track, because they're here for the skaters. 5 points.
Exactly, and there's a lot to be said for momentum and energy, because that is what roller derby is about, momentum and energy. And if you can get a little bit of feedback from the crowd, it can give you that little bit of extra push to get through there and put some points on the board.
Alex Wild putting the pressure on Mooney here in Moody's second scoring pass. Moody's going to let it go. We already have some hips passed by Wild.
Moody
Well,
trying to
one
get through, getting great defensive work there, and the English blockers are making her skate all the way back. Number 3 on Yuki Igwe, the back marker, and Moody is back into that pack, and Yuka straight back onto her, and that defensive lineup by Team England is doing a fantastic job of holding Moody back. Scarlett Love right in the middle there, trying to break some of that action up. But everywhere that Moody goes, England follows.
Well, it's the same story for Alex Wild up front against the green and cycling thing. Even getting a little bit of help from Onyeka Igwe, just is not budging the Australian tripod.
No, and it goes to show that it is getting harder and harder to be a jammer these days. When everyone keeps raising their defensive skills, pretty soon we're going to find ourselves in roller derby where the score point of like 5 to 11. because the defensive structures were so incredibly strong.
86-40, 7:55 on the clock. What I'm excited about, though, is that the blockers have figured out how to block with 3, so now there's a chance for offensive blocking.
Yeah.
And it makes for a beautiful game out
Oh,
here.
it
really
sure does. And it just adds that extra little modifier in there. The blockers have got to look out not just for the jammer, but for other blockers.
And figuring out how to do those offensive blocks. Well, we have Gomez and Ellis Story jamming out there. A drawback here by Kid Block.
Story looking to find that inside edge. She's stuck right in the middle there. She's very resistant about going off on that inside edge. But Gomez is only got one more blocker to go, and that's the pivot for Team England. And she's gotten recycled. Kid Block, an amazing job holding back Gomez. We still have no lead jammer at this stage as they're stuck around the first corner. Do you know what I've seen for a few times in this competition that I've not seen anywhere else? Lead jamless game. So full 2 minutes, no lead jammer. And it is a real sign of an amazing blocking team when neither team can get through for a lead jammer.
Yeah, they don't happen very often, but they do happen up here at this level of play, and it's so good to see this level of play here at the 2018 Roller Derby World Cup. Lead is finally going to Gomez after 1:10.
Yep, well, luckily we're not going to see one of those today, so Gomez straight up in there, and she's already tired. She's spent the last minute and a half, or minute and 10 minutes struggling with 3 incredibly strong blockers.
Yeah, she's going to call it with Story still on initial pass, but mostly because there are 2 England blockers sitting in the penalty box.
And that is good strategy coming out of the gates with a refreshed jammer in Byrne. And they're now going to have another crack at Team England with a diminished blocking capacity.
Yeah, I almost think it's better to freeze 2 blockers in the box than it is to freeze the opposing jammer.
Yeah.
Because you might as well get your points with the jammers in the box, but this is a great situation for Australia. Except Byrne trips over a pile of 2 England blockers. Byrne headed to the penalty box for that pile up.
Track. Oh no, forearm
may have been involved in the pileup happening to begin with. Power jam.
Rogue Runner getting brought all the way back there, getting nudged out by Team Australia. She's now going to try and take another stab at that, and finding the inside edge, she grabs it. Lead jammer goes to Rogue Runner.
The crowd's very excited about that. And again, her blockers did a great job of keeping Australia from pulling her back even farther. They said, shut the door on that.
Yeah. Anaconda Byrne is flying straight up through the middle side there, and she gets nudged out just a little bit, so she's going to have to go back. She now finds that gap and goes through, which is going to put pressure on Rogue Runner to have to call it off a little early.
England's first lead in 6 since Stephanie Meany got it on the last power jam. A couple points, 3 points go up on the board for England. They managed to keep Team Australia scoreless, 91-43. The clock is stopped at 4:31 as Team England is calling an official review.
An official review. It's the perfect time to mention Sweet80.com is the new roller derby inspired leisurewear brand dedicated to Clark's Weetabix Lawrence. Sweet 80's range of hoodies, jackets, vests, tees, and accessories are perfect for the track, gym, and street. A portion of profits go to Claire Lawrence Foundation to fund brain cancer charities. Sweet80.com, wear, roll, give.
Now, I'm also thinking, I haven't had the fortune of watching Australia at the World Cup, but I've watched Team USA Roller Derby a couple times, and I've been seeing them not take all the points that they could take.
Okay.
And I have heard that this is also happening with Australia. I think that both Australia and USA Roller Derby are expecting a matchup later and are saving some stuff for us to be wowed with at tonight's final. There was no point in blowing things away. I mean, they were way up at the top very early in the rankings, and I think we're going to continue to see some of this with this 91-43 score that holding a little bit back. I'd like to just take a moment to shout out to our non-skating officials in this game We have Nuts, Bacon, I Am Groot, Yvel, Minerva McGonagall, Bomb Weasley, Geo Knitter. I've met Geo Knitter a few times. Gourier, Sergeant Bernice, Lola Rock'n'Rolla, Extermicate, Lauren Badcall, Anemo, and Terminator. And from all different countries. I skipped reading those because I wasn't sure how long this official review was going to go.
Yeah.
But easily representing 7 countries in that list of NSOs.
And look, it takes a real community to make this game get off the ground. It doesn't just magically happen. And a lot of people just volunteer an immense amount of time, and it's due to the love of the sport. Worldwide, there's 198 officials all up, and the amount of effort that goes into this, not only during the event, but prior to and following the event, is absolutely immense. Especially in this world of money run sort of situations, it's amazing to see everyone donating their time.
Sisu mouthguards are the official mouthguard of the 2018 Roller Derby World Cup. And you were talking about the magic, and I think it is this diversity and this magic. No other event other than Roller Derby World Cup provides this much intermingling of ideas and experience. And I know I've picked so many other things up off my fellow announcers, and they've picked things up off of me, and I know that happens with the officials and the skaters. And it really helps the sport grow exponentially in ways no other event does.
Exactly, and a true testimony to a global community. 38 countries, 47 commentators, 198 officials, all coming together to learn off each other, to share in this experience. And I see nothing but smiles all over this place from the time the doors open to the time the last people said.
So, yeah, it just I got a compliment and now I'm blushing and I can't say anything.
It's hard to talk when your cheeks are red, isn't it?
Oh, we have a wave going around the stadium. I'm going to throw my hands up. Maybe we can get our camera crew to put a camera on what's going on with the fans. There we go. You can participate at home. It'll be coming around here in a moment as we come by.
It might look weird at home, though, with just
you and your
kids sitting around the couch.
So you are watching Roller Derby World Cup 2018. Be sure to talk about it on your favorite social media using the hashtag RDWC2018.
Well, I almost jumped the gun on the wave there. That is a faux pas.
Do not be missing up on those.
No, you can't.
So the winner of this game does move on to the championships tonight at 7 p.m. England time.
That's right, and it is going to be an absolute cracker of a game, no matter who's in it. I can guarantee you this stadium will be so loud that no one will be able to hear a single thing.
I know we're going to get back, but I do want to give a shout out to the organizers of this event, because with 38 teams, everyone I'll talk about that later when we have a break, because
we got Christy Demons and Lorraine Evans both on the jam line. She's a blocker in this case, but Christy Demons and Delta Strike, the two jammers in this scenario. Lorraine Evans, number 2 Lions, and it looks like Yana Nuku heading up the defense up against Delta Strike. Delta Strike finding an edge on the outside. Tui Line re-engaging, but not enough. Delta Strike coming out lead jammer for Team England.
That's 2 in a row. 2 in a row for Team England, and this time without a power jam. So very exciting for Delta Strike. We had a cover stash by Christy Demons, but Delta is now striking for points. No pass, no penalty, earns her 3, and she calls it.
I think she'd take those 3 and just call it a day there. Christy Demons was lining up, ready to make some points.
All right, well, clarification on that earlier official review. England was requesting 2 out-of-play calls on 2 different skaters. They received one, they were denied the other, so they should have kept their official review, though. I'm not showing the dot sting on the scoreboard, but since they did get a change, that should happen. Chief, tell me what's going on.
what's going on right now is that we've got a bunch of skaters on the track. Moody's just about to get Lee Jammer. There it goes. And number 22 for Team England is Roadrunner. She's caught at the back of the pack and yet to make her initial pass. Moody is now rounding around on the track and ready to put some points on the board. And there she goes. She's got some points on the board. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Full passes, and if she makes one more full pass, they'll be breaking the century mark. We're watching Australia's pivot head to the penalty box.
All she's got to do is get past Onyeka Ingwe. Easy, surely.
Looks like Danny Darko's in the penalty box.
She has been sitting over there. And we've got 1 and 1 in the penalty box at this stage. England blocker coming back out to join the thing. Menace is now rejoining the rest of the defensive squad for Team England, making Moody skate all the way back. So if you're watching at home and relatively new to roller derby, you're probably wondering why they're all skating in the wrong direction.
Well, the cover has been passed from Rogue Runner to...
Now, they don't get negative points like this, do they?
No, we have a full lap backwards. That is Charlene Scarlett has the jammer cover now for Team England. And since both jammers are going the opposite direction, I actually think the pack is just having fun with this. It only takes one team to decide it's going to stop going backwards, and the other team has to stop. And so here we have, are we working on our second or third here now?
So, you know what, this is certainly not something you would normally see in roller derby, but...
It does happen, but both teams are letting it happen.
Yeah.
I think, honestly, England is happy to not be losing as much as they are losing to Australia, and Australia was playing along. As I mentioned earlier, both Australia and USA Roller Derby seem to be making a point of not pulling out all the stops, of keeping a little in reserve for this later game that's going to happen. But in the meantime, Team Australia picked up 14 points, 105 to Team England's 46, less than a minute left to play.
And look, we are rounding up to the end of the first half. We've got ourselves two jammers right in the middle of that pack there. Number 13, Stephanie Maney for Team England. And it looks like it is Byrne for Team Australia. And Stephanie Maney is going to come into this second half with lead jammer status. She's looking around at the clock just to see how much time she's got left. They are jammer on jammer actions. Maney's very well aware that she's got Byrne on her shoulder, and I think she's just going to try and run that clock out or wait till Byrne gets right up to the back of the pack and then call it off.
Yeah. When you're losing and you're not expected to win, it's best to burn the time and lose as little as possible, as long as possible.
Yeah.
So good time management there for Stephanie Maney.
We've got 5 seconds left. I'm not too sure. They're probably going to let this clock wind out, and they have done. So halftime has occurred. We have 15 minutes on the clock until the next half of this super exciting game. Go grab yourself a drink, go to the bathroom, get everything down and out of the way, because you're not going to want to miss a second of this. And let's have a bit of a word of our sponsors before we disappear.
Sure, S1 Helmet sponsoring our track here. Durable, functional, stable. The S1 Pro knee pads are built for roller derby.
I'm Chief Intent. We'll see you in 14 and a half minutes.
I'm Amy Jo Moore. See you then.
of the most advanced, scientific, and accurate ways to show how much better the S1 Lifer helmet is versus the traditional soft foam skate helmet is to actually test these in an accredited, independent, third-party testing facility. This is the S1 Lifer helmet, which is constructed with our patented blend of EPS fusion foam. This is a traditional soft foam skate helmet, which is constructed with soft foam inserts. We're going to put helmets onto this head form that has an accelerometer in it that measures impact energy. The head form is connected to a computer that measures the amount of impact that gets to the head in a simulated impact. Basically what you're seeing is that the soft foam helmet is allowing the impact energy to go directly through the helmet and get to the head form. With the S1 Lifer helmet, the fusion foam is crushing that energy and dispersing it out and reducing it 4 times the amount the soft foam helmet did. The S1 Lifer helmet, a better, safer helmet.
This is the totally redesigned Lifer visor helmet from S1. Featuring our patented fusion foam, this helmet has the impact protection you've come to expect from an S1 helmet and is both multiple impact and high impact certified. Our new custom visor is made with a high impact polycarbonate lens, which is optically correct and features our patented cover catcher, which allows for multiple covers to be worn with easy on-off. The outside lens has an anti-scratch coating, while the inside has an anti-fog coating. The outer shell is equipped with in-mold mounting hardware so that the visor can be removed and replaced if needed. The S1 Lifer visor helmet, where innovation and function are actualized.
Unleash your inner beast with the Radar Halo.
What I really like about S1 knee pads is they're not only comfortable, but they're reliable. They're long-lasting, and I don't have to worry about my knees. And that's something that is really, really important in this sport because you need your knees to be able to do it. Not having to worry about that, it's awesome. My name is Bala Shot Caller. I skate for Team USA, and S1 is part of my uniform.
I really enjoy my experience with the S1 knee pads. I may fall and take weird tackles as jammers do, but I know for sure that there's support, that my articulations are going to stay held together. They don't fall, they don't slide. I'm very satisfied. I love my pads. I'm Miracle Whips. I skate for Team Canada, and S1 is part of my uniform.
Did you know that by the time I'm 14, I'm twice as likely to drop out of sports as a boy my age?
Playing roller derby has helped me overcome anxiety,
Helped me to be more outgoing at school, get more self-confident,
and feel good about myself.
Girls on Track wants to help more girls like me have a chance to succeed
by improving access to junior roller derby.
Help Girls on Track break down barriers so girls like us can break down walls. Learn more, get involved, and donate at girlsontrackfoundation.org.
Join the WFTDA in supporting UN Women and the One Win Leads to Another campaign through our new giving program, We Believe. One Win Leads to Another uses sports to develop leadership and economic skills in young women and girls. We believe roller derby can change the world. To learn more, go to WFTDA.com/donate.
Protect yourself from impact. Skate smart and hard. Stakes wear, making contact wear for women since 2014.
I've been skating in the S1 knee pads for about 2 years now, and they came to me as a real game changer. I damaged my knees over a period of years from both ramp skating and roller derby, taken a couple of bad falls, and because of the S1 knee pads, I was able to rehab my knees while still skating, so I didn't actually have to take a break. They stay up really well, they absorb the shock, and they just completely protect my knees. I'm Lady Trample, I skate for Team Aotearoa, and S1 is part of my uniform.
In 2010, we took soft foam helmets from every brand, including S1, into the testing lab and discovered that every single one of them failed current helmet safety standards. This is a soft foam helmet. It has a hard plastic outer shell and soft foam inserts. The problem with soft foam helmets is that impact energy travels directly through these helmets and rattles the brain. Soft foam helmets do not pass high impact or multiple impact certification tests. After learning this information, we set out to make a better, safer helmet. What we created was the S1 Lifer helmet with fusion foam. We make fusion foam by blending low, medium, and high density beads together to make our impact reducing inner foam mold. The inner foam mold is what does all the impact dispersion in the S1 Lifer helmet. We batch test every production run of helmets to ensure the quality and consistency of every S1 Lifer helmet made. Get a Lifer, be a Lifer.
Welcome back to the second half of the game before the game. The semi-finals on the lead up to the grand finals to declare who is going to be this year's World Cup champion. And right now the scores are 105 for Team Australia versus 46 for Team England. Now, of course, the winner of this game goes on to play USA, who have just beaten Canada 274 to 62. And I'm sure that game is going to be a fantastic one, and you're not going to want to miss a single second of that.
And that game right back here on S1 Helmets Go Track at 7 p.m. England time. Brom got us some stats here during our halftime break. So there were 14 team penalties for Team Australia to 20 penalties for Team England. 2 of those on the Australian side were for jammers, none for England jammers. So
really?
Keeping it clean there. There have been 3 star passes on Team England side. Not a lot other story about penalties except a little on the England side. Terry Sudron has 5 penalties. Onyeka Igwe with 4. So those are the only 2 really in some kind of penalty concern. On the Australia side, we do have Gomez still with 100% lead jammer status in the first half.
Well, that's fantastic for her. She certainly has been having a great day out there. I've noticed Sarah Chambers not jamming today, so they're probably saving her for the possibility of playing USA later on, as she's been having a great event up until this time. Also, I've noticed a few mums out there in the audience this tournament. I know Scarlett's mum out there, and Wheels McCoy's mum's out there. It's really great to bring along their parents to something like this. And they really get into it, I reckon.
That is really exciting. I love it. It's a family event, whether you're related by blood or related by skates.
That's exactly right. It's all one big family.
when not always happy, but right now it's all smiles.
Exactly.
All smiles here on the S1 Helmets Go track at the 2018 Roller Derby World Cup, hosted by Rainy City Roller Derby. And what fantastic hosts Rainy City Roller Derby has been today. I can't give enough love to them, Chief.
No, and look, you know, I think the name's a little bit deceiving because today, if you go outside, it is blue skies all the way in Manchester.
Kidding. I think only the smokers are going outside here. That was so much derby.
Oh, it's definitely cold out there, that's for sure. But there's such good derby in here. And everyone's had such a big treat and so many games and so many great matchups for teams that you never would have seen before. A lot of first-time countries coming and joining in the fray. And, I mean, 4 years ago, Australia was nowhere even on the charts, you know. They were relatively unknown comparatively, and now look at them here in the semi-finals, quite possibly going on to the grand final.
Well, they were visible in the distance. Let's give them at least that. They were somebody who was even up and coming in 2011. Yeah, they only got less than 10 points against Team USA back then, but things have changed. And, they have a chance to take the cup at this evening's game.
So we've got Alex Wild, the jammer for Team England, up against Moody, 216. Alex Wild, and she is lead jammer. She's having a great time against Team Australia today. Very effective as a jammer from the English team against Team Australia.
Hometown crowd is a little wild about that one. I'm surprised how soon their cheers ended. She is in and posting points. The cover is off of Moody. And she is just not getting past this wall, braced by Kid Block.
It's certainly not through lack of time. We have a back block going to Onyeka Igwe, going to bring her up to 5 penalties, so she needs to be a little careful.
Jammer lap point picked up by Alex Wild as Moody breaks out of the pack too. 5-0 in the jam brings us to 105.51.
And Stephanie Maney jamming for Team England, and they're bringing out Giles. So first jam we're going to see from Giles this game from Team Australia, 0-1-0. And Tui Lyon right there, right in front of Stephanie Maney. And all the blockers coming in to join the party now.
A rollback from the pivot line, both teams, and it is Giles picking up lead jammer.
So Giles just recently did the move from Australia, I think now to Gotham. I could be wrong, to tell you the truth.
You are right.
She's gone from VRDL to Gotham just recently and come back to play for the World Cup for good old Australia.
Well, I think there is a rule, too, that once you start playing for country, you must remain playing for that country. So we've had a cover pass to Kid Block on Team England. Kid Block now putting the pressure on Giles.
I think it also applies to Tui Lyon, who plays for Angel City.
Yes.
And she's also come back to play for Australia.
Stephanie Maney has moved to Bay Area from London.
As shortstop, I think she's playing for Team Korea.
Yeah, they're all over.
Everyone's scattered throughout the teams.
It is really fun to see that. It used to be a lot of expats. There are a lot of Americans playing a lot of different teams. It's so nice now to see other countries also mixing around too.
Yep, and 4 points on the board for Giles.
She is letting Kid Block score, but only one scoring pass so far has not been completed by Kid Block. Well, now it's completed.
There it is.
4 points.
Speaking of skating back to your country of origin, Lady Trample skating for Team Aotearoa.
Yes.
They've had a fantastic World Cup.
Talk about excellent jammers.
They have had such a good time, and 3 of those jammers, Anna Pavuova, Ivy Kanivi, and Lady Trample, all VRDL jammers.
Yeah. So 3 scoring passes for Giles, got 12 on the board. 1 scoring pass for Kid Block for 4, 117 to 55. We're seeing both sets of blockers starting the pivot line and only half a rollback.
Gomez and Delta Strike. Gomez coming through, having a look at that front of the pack and looking to keep that 100% lead jammer ratio, and does so. Lead jammer going to Team Australia. Delta Strike still stuck in the back of the middle of a team of Australia's blockers. So we've got Danny Darko, Scarlett Love, and it looks like Bone Shaker as a part of that, and also Bianca Shredder as part of that defense for Team Australia. And we got Menace and Igwe and 888.
Shaylon Scarlett.
Shaylon Scarlett for the defense for Team England.
This is Gomez's 5th jam and her 5th lead jam as well. Perfect for the night so far.
Wow, great work there by Gomez. She certainly have a fantastic game today. And that's 15 points on the board so far and still a minute left in this jam.
A cut track, sending Bone Shaker to the penalty box, going to help Delta Strike just a little bit. Oh, but Delta Strike has passed her helmet cover to Shaylon Scarlett. Shaylon Scarlett now in a scoring pass.
Gomez looking to get through there. I'm sure Igwe very, very aware of the fact she's only got one more penalty up her sleeve before she gets ejected at 7. So Gomez, 5 points on the board. This is a mammoth jam for Team Australia, and almost coming in, she's got enough time to maybe even get another 4 or 5 points on the board, sitting on 29 points for this jam and calling it.
That is the largest score in a jam in this game at 29-3.
That's 33-3.
Oh, thank you for that correction. More points going up on the board for Team Australia and Gomez.
That is a massive jam for Gomez.
Yep. Really good on that long pointing on the jam. Definitely worth giving up a bit of a scoring pass to Team England to advance Team Australia 150-58, 24-44 on a stopped clock because Team England has called a team timeout. Great time to tell a little bit more about our sponsors. Roller Derby City being skater owned and operated means supporting the roller derby community is at the heart of what they do. And they've been proudly supporting the local roller derby since they began in 2010.
And also, Sucker Punch Skate Shop, as Europe's original derby owned and devoted skate shop, Sucker Punch is dedicated to helping you with honest advice to find exactly what you need and more. Our technical know-how and expertise is unrivaled, as is our availability of your favorite gear and fast shipping we offer throughout Europe. Visit us at suckerpunchskateshop.com.
Well, we are going to get back to play after a minute of break. Stanton taking the jam line against Roadrunner.
This is the first time we've seen Stanton play as well. She's skating. So Stanton normally skates under Jambi back at home if you know anything about Sun State. But she's one of the Queensland skaters that have come down to join in Team Australia. And she's been very, very effective this tournament.
But this is her first time jamming now this game.
That's right.
So Australia's playing a different game than the first half. The cover for Team England has been passed to Kid Block. Kid Block now going on with those incredibly powerful legs. But this constantly morphing shape that Australia brought to this game 3 years ago and has perfected here on both the WFTD scene and the international scene. And everyone has adopted this in some form at every level of play.
Definitely, and you've got to, because if you're not running with that, then you're probably not going to win.
Yeah, they really brought this from the sport of roller derby. Of course, Stanton looking to her ref, looking for a no pass, no penalty. It's called on a cut track and goes to the penalty box. Power jam for England. That is the very first jammer penalty for Team Australia in this game. Well, so much going on out over there between corners 1 and 2. It is just a tight mess of red and green.
Kid Block is trying to get through there, having a lot of trouble. That's Bone Shaker nudging her out just there. And also 111, which is Wheels McCoy.
Well, Kid Block's been at this jammer cover for more than a minute in this jam. She must be getting tired facing this rear braced wall. We have just a few seconds left in the jam before the clock runs out. 5 in the sky, for Stanton, and she's just coasting it here. Gonna let that clock run out. No point in racing. 10 points for Team Australia. Team England scoreless that jam, 160, 58, 22, 31 on the period clock. As we see Wild come to the jam line for England.
Now, Wild has been having a very good game here against Australia, and been quite effective jammer against these Australian blockers. So we'll see what she can do here as they both fly into this defensive structure. Moody trying to push on through on the inside edge and getting through. Lead jammer going through to Australia and Moody. Bianca Sheretta and Danny Jarko, only two of them, but managing to hold Wild back as she gets some assistance from the rest of her team to try and punch a hole in these two, now three defensive walls. Bone Shakers join the team to try and hold back Wild, and they're doing a stellar job, and Wild just having no luck at all getting through for initial pass. I think she's pushed these blockers almost the entire length of the track. And Shaolin Scarlett now coming in to try and break this up and punching a wall through for Wild through her initial pass.
Well, we do have 5 points, more points on the board for Moody, who's at 10 for the jam. She's going to skate it out somewhat slowly and looks over her shoulder, calls that off. 170 to 58, 21 minutes remaining in this game between Team Australia and Team England here at the 2018 Roller Derby World Cup. Well, Chief, the crowd seems to have mellowed a little bit. I think they're waiting like for a lead jam from England.
Yeah, I think they are, so they can absolutely bring the house down. I do love that derby spirit of cheering for the underdog, no matter who it is. I think one of the loudest moments I've heard here at this event today, not today, but over the weekend, was when Norway got 10 points in the last 5 or so minutes against Team Australia. I could not hear for a full solid 2 hours after that. Giles, lead jammer, Team Australia. Stephanie Maney has now, it looks like, done a star pass, and I'm not too sure who she's passed it to. She's passed it through to number 11. That's Roberts. And skating through, and Faye Roberts is now the lead, not lead jammer, she's jammer for Team England, but they're a fast-moving pack, and Giles is right up in there looking around, and she's going to turn around and try and be a blocker, and I think, who knows, she's going to keep going and get some points on the board for Team England.
Terry Sudro knocks Giles out of the pack, but then she is also knocked out by Team England blocker.
So, quick look over there, and 3 fingers on the board. So Team England have come out of that with 1 extra point on the board over Team Australia, and the Team Australia had their lead jammer. So good work there by Team England.
Indeed.
And Gomez out there on the track again, looking to keep up her 100% lead jammer status and story against her for Team England.
And again, this fast pack, and they've slowed up now in corner 1. I thought they were going to take off like they were skating there in the last jam. That was some pretty fast skating. We are seeing Ella Story heading to the penalty box on, I saw a forearm.
That was Gomez actually heading to the penalty box.
Thank you.
Ella Story is now lead jammer. So there goes Gomez's perfect record. She's now in the box and no longer has that 100% lead jammer ratio. But this is a great opportunity. Sorry about that, Amy Jo. Great opportunity for England to put some points on and get some of that margin back under control.
This is the first lead England has had in 6 jams, and as expected, it did get a rise out of the crowd. And as she was about to break out of the pack, I think they were expecting her to get out, and they cheered on that one, but she got recycled.
Yep.
Scarlett Love, of course, anchoring this group of blockers from Australia and drawing a Story back about 40 feet.
Gomez not with the star on her helmet at this stage because she stashed it, but it's going straight back on there. Just in time for them to blow the whistle and call it off.
Well, Story's going to take her 5 points and call the jam 173 to 67.
So number 32, Stanton, is back on track as the jammer. Interestingly enough, I had a chat to Stanton a little earlier on in the week, and asked her what a most inspirational part of that roller derby was for her, and she said that it never comes down to just one player. It's not about some magical quarterback who can throw the winning pass. And when a teamwork and a good cooperation pays off, that is the most amazing thing about roller derby, and she's dead right. That is one of the best things about this sport.
Roadrunner saw that line open up on the inside and takes it. She's going to put pressure on Stanton. And I couldn't agree with Stanton more on that.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that's why we do it, too.
Yeah.
No one can do this alone.
No.
There's way too much going.
It's not about individual superstars. It's about a team. And the quicker that a team can adopt that philosophy, and it's not just the team on the track, it's the team in the rooms, it's the greater team as a whole, it's the support network, it's the juniors, it's a team. And that's really the fundamentals of why everyone can get behind this sport.
Australia winning this half 71 to 21. A little bit bigger of a stretch than they did in the first half, so it looks like they're willing to take it away a little more.
Oh, that was a massive hit. No pass, no penalty. But Moody will continue to be in front as a jammer, but she's not the lead jammer. It's Delta Strike, and she's going to call it off.
Delta Strike, the second out of the pack with that no pass, no penalty. Keeping it off from Australia. No difference, 0-0 jam. Still at 178 to 67.
Such a big hit by Menace on Moody on that corner.
That was. They both ended up flat on the floor.
Yeah. Giles, the lead. Giles, the jammer, and up against Stephanie Maney.
Yeah, that last jam there was the first time we've had a 0-0 score in this half.
Okay.
So everybody's been scoring. Sometimes those big hits can really interrupt things. Kid block with the draw out on Giles. And Giles straddling, just waiting till Kid block's gonna get called on the out of play. I love that strategy of the straddle, especially when the blocker is choosing to be on the other side of the track and can't hit you.
Yeah. It's like tempting them. Come on, give us a bit of a hit. So forearms penalty going to Giles. She's making her way through to the box there.
So this is 2 times now that Team Australia has yielded the opportunity to get lead, but we've had a star pass by England, possibly unaware of the jammer penalty, and that goes to Roberts. Roberts now the jammer for Team England. She's going to be at it for another minute as Giles stands in the penalty box. Her cover's stashed, so you won't see it on the screen as she comes out of the box, but you can't miss her. She's got the cropped up uniform. And there she comes in, and she'll be coming into your screen on the right shortly. England, 5 on the board.
5 on the board for England and Faye Roberts.
Giles bursts out of the pack, really uninterrupted when she found that line. She's coming here for her first scoring pass, putting some points on the board to respond to England's 5. England through for another 4.
A lot of great pressure being put on here against Team Australia, and good defensive work there. Kid block is like the arch nemesis of Giles right now. Every time Giles tries to get past, she just gets knocked out by Kid block, and I'm sure it's frustrating the bejesus out of her. What a fantastic jam there by Team England, and they're happy. The crowd's happy. We've got ourselves a 12-point jam versus 2 points for Team Australia.
Oh, I think that England has everything to be excited about in that. Australia only giving up 30 seconds of jammer play. I mean, that's a very respectable jam.
It sure is. And if you've sent some friends here to the Roller Derby World Cup to pick up some merch for you, you know what? You can get it from home now. So get a different shirt from a different roller derby league from around the world every single month. Join Roller Derby Shirt Club at rollerderbyshirtclub.com.
Gomez goes back to picking up her lead jam status. A half lap behind is Rogue Runner. I pointed to a different number on my sheet when I started. So that 13 points in the last jam was the most points scored in a jam for England in the second period.
Okay.
And they earned all of those. That wasn't Australia holding back.
No, it
We
wasn't.
talked about Australia holding back before, but that wasn't that in that jam. That was all England.
They definitely took those points and they claimed them as their own.
184 to 80, 12-17 on the second period clock. Stanton on the jam line against Alex Wild, the pack up near the pivot line. Sometimes we get rollbacks, sometimes we don't. A little bit after the whistle goes, Australia with the rear brace, England with the front brace, and it's just 2 because we have a pretty full penalty box. 3-2 pack advantage, Team Australia. That gets Stanton lead. Stanton adjusts her wrist guards and elbow guards before she starts striding away further. And we see Wild gonna put some heat on.
She jumps into action to grab those points.
And that jam gets called. Did Australia get any points? It looks like the jam ref is doing some conferencing to determine.
Have a look at this replay, and she just flies through there and jumps it.
We're looking to see.
Are they deciding whether or not...
Probably deciding both points and was there any kind of penalizable action. And so we have gone into official review because the officials need a little more time on that. Clock stopped at 11:11, Chief.
Yeah, 11:11. Well, quite an ominous time frame to be calling that off. Quick shout out to Rollline, one of our official sponsors for Track 2, our Rollline track. So Rollline is the tailored gear to fit your needs. Rollline, the Italian skating experience since 1999. Be sure to check out Rollline on Facebook and Instagram for the latest offers. Hashtag Crew Rollline.
So here in the second half, there have only been 5 jams that Australia has been held scoreless, but only 6 for England.
Oh, wow.
So
they're both moving forward. We definitely don't have anyone being stunted.
Yeah,
in this
34
game.
points for England this half, 79 points for Australia. Looks like we're going to be getting back into play. I don't see a big change. I do see a big change in the penalty box. We see Australia's jammer got sent to the penalty box
must have been
after that jam. Seems to be the
maybe.
result. Yeah, well, we saw Kid Block kind of bump her while she was in air trying to do that jump. And I think there just needed to be more eyes to make the determination about her landing.
And fair enough. So Bianca Sciaretta unable to stop Delta Strike as Delta Strike storms into the lead, and Team England now with a lead jammer.
Team England are doing a great job with these leads here in the second half of the second half. And she found that inside line. Scarlett Love could not stop her, and she picks up 5, seeing the penalty box completely empty.
Team Australia reforming that 3 wall, but unfortunately gets smashed to pieces by Delta Strike. We've got Stanton back in as well, and the back marker, I think that's Kid Block. It's hard to tell from here. She's got her back facing towards us. But Menace, no, that is not. That's just Jess. And a cut track being called on Stanton as just Jess being labelled the back marker. This is going to be fantastic news for Team England and Delta Strike, who's already sitting on a 14-point jam, and we've got 45 seconds left in this jam. So they're going to speed this on up and see if they can try and stem some of this point flow.
Just Jess had a big grin on her face. She knew she got that cut track, and then when it happened, that wasn't just her breathing around her mouth guard.
No, no, she was definitely a big old smile on there. Yana Nuko reaches up around her neck. I think she might have got an errant elbow, but she's straight back into action. Stanton rejoins just in time for that to be called off. And what an epic jam. What a fantastic job there by Delta Strike and the entire blocking team of Team England.
Look at this replay as Scarlett Love is unable to stop Delta Strike. That was 2 passes earlier. This is now again the biggest jam in the game for England at 18-0.
What a great, great job. We've got 9 minutes left in this game. England about to turn around the corner and get through to the ton. And when you think of great matchups, Australia versus England, we've been competing in the Ashes tournament since the dawn of time, and this is just another aspect in which the Colonials can bring it on back to the motherland and see what we can do. But certainly England is not going to go down without a fight, and that last jam is certainly evidence of that.
Gomez picking up lead and now 5 points. She only missed 1 lead jam in this game so far. She's working on her second scoring pass. She got herself in that mess at corner 1. And England is not giving it up easy. A little offensive blocking coming from the Aussies.
5 points on the board for Gomez. 10 points now.
A cover pass to Kid Luck for Team England is going to put some pressure on Gomez to call it off. Gomez looks over her shoulder. I think she got it in time to blank England.
I think she might have.
And I'm waiting to see. I don't see the green wrist guard up yet with points for England. Oh, there we go. 1 point. 1 point posted. Of course, there's someone in the penalty box. Andy's conferencing, or they are conferencing. There we go. 2 points on the board. More for Team Australia.
2.
1, 2 to, yeah.
Oh, it's confusing. I'll let them sort that out. So, Moody and number Rogue Runner, 22.
A knee pad part has fallen on the floor, and it looks like someone's glasses or something also have fallen in the straightaway. So we just have some debris. The pack is past it at this time. It may not be an issue unless the pack comes back around. We have lead going to Moody. The pack is coming back to that debris on the ground. Moody approaching the back of the pack for a scoring pass. Finds a front wall with a helper.
So Moody now putting some points on the board for the team. And 5 points in the air. And as they say, every action has an equal and opposite reaction. And those 18 points that just went to Team England have now just been reversed. And the last 15 points have gone straight unanswered to Team Australia.
Australia has broken the double century mark.
So Danny Darko, that back marker, she's going to look to skate back and hold back a Rogue Runner. Rogue Runner trying to get out through the inside edge. Danny Darko not giving her any space to do that. Bianca Sciaretta and Bone Shaker and Danny Darko now forming that 3-wall and then remarking there for Rogue Runner.
England's pivot. Missy Rascal has returned from the penalty box, giving Rogue Runner some options if she wants them. We haven't seen too many cover passes.
Every time she tries to fly through on that inside edge, she just cops a bit of a sideways bump and then she goes flying.
She took 2 seconds of a rest there. And look at that, a little bit of offensive help from Missy Rascal. It opens up the inside line there in corner 1. She's finally going to be able to put some pressure on. And Moody calls that. But a couple points in the pocket for Moody from that last pass. You'll see that go up on the board in a moment. Looks like 2:04.98. Team England scoreless the last couple jams.
It is very interesting. We are seeing a very similar style of scoreline now with 5 minutes left in this game. 2:04.98 and USA 274-62. So we're looking at a very sort of similar-ish sort of style and point spread. Certainly no blowouts happening, which is fantastic. But here I am talking about it in UK. Wild, who's having a great game against Team Australia, straight back in their lead jammer again.
And she bursts out with some speed. The cover is off of Giles. And she works on this Kid Block-led group of 2 in the back. She finds an inside line at corner 2, comes through, checks her helmet. Oh yes, my cover is in my hand. Let me put that on now.
Where did I put that thing?
5 points for Wild, and they call it.
Whistles are now gone on, and 2 points. They're very happy. Giles has managed to sneak a little 2 in on the back end.
Kaya skates. This is how skates are supposed to feel. Try the Onyx boot now and see for yourself. It's time. www.kaya-brand.com.
Gomez on the jam line right up against Delta Strike, and nearly every blocker on the track is all up in their grill as well at the same stage. Gomez,
little break dancing by Gomez.
Bending in ways. How did she do that? She moves like they do. She's part of the Matrix, obviously, but she's now skating around at breakneck speed.
Does a leap into the braced wall of Team England, cover off of Delta Strike, and she comes around. She's not going to waste any time, though. She's going to try and force this call off by Gomez.
Sausage rolls over in the corner with running man style moves, obviously telling her to keep on going.
Bone shaker with a knockout on Delta Strike. Going to draw her back 40 feet. Gomez.
Re-engaging there. They knocked her down. She gets back up again like they do in the Chumbawamba song, and the Team England straight back on her, and now they're just having to let her go.
Yeah, misconduct there for, I believe, charging with the jammer still on the ground. I shouldn't use the word believe. I know that's why she got a misconduct. Just that the refs we don't get to hear what the word is out of their mouth, and that signal technically covers a couple of different penalties.
Yeah. So, Sausage Roll, the coach in the corner, is, I think, signaling her to keep on going, to skate around, keep putting points on the board, and that is exactly what she's going to do.
14 points so far this jam now for Team Australia. Cover is stashed for England. It is still in the hands of Delta Strike. Delta Strike being kept from Rascal. Rascal could skate back. She's trying to find herself in an advantageous position. She doesn't want to be in that same wall that held Delta Strike. Delta Strike keeps it, comes around the outside, and has now completed that in a scoring pass. She got 3 for that.
And the clock runs out. We have 1 minute and 30 seconds left in this game. That has absolutely flown by, Amy Jo. 222 to 106. And Moody lines up on the jam line up against number 13, Faye Roberts.
Official timeout to check some scoring here.
Stephanie Maney, my apologies.
I'd like to tell you about the Fifth Blocker Skates. They are skater owned and operated since 2011. Gallus.
So Stephanie Maney being pushed all the way back to Tui Lyon, the back marker, and the defensive team of Bones and Tui Lyon holding Stephanie back at this stage. Moody caught right up in the middle of that front English defense, and we're getting a penalty on there for Bones, but it is Moody, the lead jammer for Australia, who is in charge of this jam.
And she is now in a scoring pass. She gets around 3. Guess she didn't completely get around. She apparently cut the track. We're going to see this pack unwinding. There's a little bit of a race back and knocked out again to the outside of corner 3-4. And now we're going to go back another half a lap. With both jammers now out of bounds, being chased backwards. We may see what we saw before, 9 seconds on the period clock. I do believe that the lead jammer is probably just going to race this bout backwards until that period clock hits 0, and then maybe a couple more seconds for fun. There we go.
Calling it off after a roller derby rewind.
That's a way to end a game. Man, I skated counterclockwise for a whole hour.
Yeah.
Let's skate clockwise for 4 minutes.
Exactly.
That's a good way to do it.
just unbending something. When you've got something folded in one direction, you unfold it in the other direction.
Exactly,
Just to even it all
like
out.
that. Well, what a fun game we've had here on the
game.
S1 Helmets Co-Track here at Roller Derby World Cup 2018, hosted by Rainy City Roller Derby.
That's right, and now it looks like Australia will be facing off against USA later on tonight at 7:30 p.m. Make sure you're glued to your internet television sets and don't miss a single minute of that game, because it is going to be an absolute pearler.
Well, Canada is going to play Team England a little bit earlier then for the 3-4 game. I think we can expect a complete nail-biter in that one.
Oh, that is going to be an amazing game also.
Canada has blanked a couple of teams out here and kept teams to really no numbers. England, of course, has been playing strong all weekend. So that 3-4 game at 3:30, we're going to just double check that time so you folks at home know when to tune in.
They're going to have to sort out who gets to be white on red and who gets to be red on white with Canada.
Exactly. But that's okay. It's going to be at 2:30 p.m. 2:30 p.m. will be the 3-4 game between Team Canada and Team England.
Yeah.
And it has been, we're doing selfies here. We'll be sure to post that at hashtag RDWC 2018. You should do that too for your watch parties and everything you have to say about these great games going on. And of course, before those happen, we're going to have it's a 5:30 p.m. game for the 3-4. At 3:30, you can see the junior exhibition game. And if you have not seen juniors, you need to tune in and watch. This is not what you think.
No, and it's certainly not juniors like we've got juniors, because this is the Roller Derby World Cup.
Right.
So expect some big old things from those little people.
We saw them at the last Roller Derby World Cup, and it was so much fun. It was like a 1-point game, if I remember. So I think we're going to see some great derby there. It's been great announcing with you, Chief. So much thanks to our producer, Brahm, who has kept us fed with numbers and sounding smart.
It has been a fantastic, fantastic game. Thank you very much, Amy Jo. I've been Chief in 10, and what a great opportunity and a great pleasure it's been to call with you.
And we'll see you later.